Well, you've wandered into the steam room. We appreciate you doing that.
Yes, we do.
Maybe you did it intentionally. Maybe you took a wrong turn. I don't know.
Can you accidentally get into a steam room?
Sure, if you're going through some podcasts and your finger slips and you say, oh, how did I hit the steam room? And you'd be amazed at how many loyal steamers started that very way. Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley were already off to a better start than we were last week. But now, look, everything looks great.
Yes.
You still have not located the very nice...
The young lady from Texas, from Houston.
Sent you the great memo pad. And
I got to find it.
Yeah. Anyway, but you have something scribbled down for first of all.
I got a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Oh, a bunch?
Yeah, not a bunch.
Then why'd you say a bunch?
So, I got a lot of writing. I got to figure out what I want to use.
Okay.
Hey, so...
be judicious.
I was a little late today because I was in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I went to a funeral yesterday. You know, I never go to funerals, but I did. This guy was so special. I talked about it on the show last week. My Armenian brother, George Andrigan, passed away. Man, it was a beautiful ceremony. One of the greatest people I've met in my life. My Armenian brother. I just wanted to say, hey, man, we're going to miss you.
How'd you guys meet?
He came to my radio. Ernie, I had a radio show back in 85, 86.
I bet that was good.
Pulitzer. We won a Pulitzer.
Oh, did you really?
Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Close enough.
So that's right.
If you're going to lie about it, it's close enough.
Hey, if you still listen, the last election was stolen.
So this is how you met this.
I met George, and his son actually works for the Knicks.
Okay.
He works for the Knicks. I saw him here last week when they played the Hawks. He's a great kid, and shout out to the family, though. Just want to tell him we're going to miss George. Was a great person, and I'm going to miss him. So, secondly, man, you talk about golf. There's a guy named Rafael Campos, plays on the PGA Tour, had missed 14 out of 15 cuts, and had a baby last week. And I watched his press conference. He had never won on the tour. Had missed 14 out of 15 cuts, Ernie.
He was struggling.
And he was saying to the press, and he says, had a baby on Monday. And he said, I was sitting around talking to my wife and we got a pretty good life. And there's way more important things in life than golf. He said that in his press conference Saturday. He says, I used to come out here and obviously I'm playing well. I'm in the top 3 or 4. He said, but I was sitting there with my wife having my little baby girl on Monday, and I realized there's way more important things in life than golf. And man, he won.
Isn't that amazing?
And the perspective, dude, this is what we do. This ain't who we are.
Here's a guy who was freed up. It was just like,
yes.
You know what? Everything was about
me.
You make a cut, and, play a weekend, get out of this rut. And then it was like, wow, I'm holding real life right here. This is it.
If I played bad today and I go home and hold my baby girl, I'm like, life is pretty good for me. And it freed him up. And man,
what a story.
He started crying because he was so emotional. Because number one, it gives him some stability. I'm glad he learned, dude, this is what we do. This is not who we are. And his tears almost brought me to tears. I was just so happy for him because, I don't want to use the word journeyman, but he was a journeyman. And, the PGA Tour is rough, man. You have to play for your job every year unless you win. If you're not in the top 125, you get fired.
Yeah, you're right.
So I just want to say, man, I appreciate you battling because, everybody's out here trying to win, man. But everything has to go the right way. You get a break here or there. So Rafael Campos, man, I just want to give you some love and say, hey, congrats.
Hey, that's almost a good for the soul.
Yeah, it is.
But there's another one to come later.
Yes.
But go ahead.
We lost Bob Love of the Bulls.
Right. Butterbean.
But that's it. Butterbean Love. I always want to pay homage to the older NBA players because if it weren't for those guys, we wouldn't be where we are today.
I watched Bob Love play. I watched him and Chet the Jet Walker. and Jerry Sloan when they were all playing for the Chicago Bulls back in the day.
That's awesome, Ernie. Yeah. And man, but I just want to acknowledge Mr. Love and say, hey, all the older players, man, I always try to pay y'all homage because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here today. It's the NBA is thriving. These young kids, they are so lucky and blessed. I wish them nothing but the best. I just want them to appreciate what the older guys, I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about the guys before me, all those guys who did all the heavy lifting to put the NBA in this situation. And last, okay, I don't know what happened with this whole NBA, inside the NBA thing. Number one, I'm just so excited for the people who work here.
Absolutely.
You know, these guys, you know, you've been here the longest. How many years?
35 years.
35 years. Ken is 28, right?
25, 28.
No, I'm 25.
Are you 25?
I'm 25. And he was here at least
When was your first year?
99. This is my 25th year.
We've all.
So these people are my family. You know, it's so cute. They bought newborns in here. Then you see during the playoffs, they come in and say hello before the prom.
Yeah.
Then they come back when they graduate college.
It's amazing when you look at it in those terms. Yeah, we've known a lot of these crew members before they were even married.
Yes.
And now it's married and kids and it's tremendous.
I'm looking forward to the future. I don't know what the future entails.
That's the thing. I mean, for folks out there who are looking on the internet and looking at various posts on social and, look, they're going to be on ESPN and ABC. They're going to be doing – we don't know exactly
anything
what shape this is going to take right now. There are a lot of questions that need to be answered, but we are glad that we are –
keeping people employed.
Yeah, you're exactly right because –
we love you guys.
Everybody,
well, not all of y'all.
Everybody on the cruise.
Not everybody.
It works. No, everybody on that crew.
I hate Alex.
Alex is still part of the crew.
I hate him though.
But anyway, yeah, we're excited with the prospect of what lies ahead here, and you know, this is like I don't even know how to explain it. This is a very different kind of a relationship you haven't seen before, and how. You know, we stay here and we do the show, and it shows up somewhere else. And so
you're saying we're going on a blind date? That's what it's going to be like. You know, but you know what? I have so much respect for all those guys at ESPN because I never look at us as competition. We're all in the basketball business. I want those guys to do well because if they do well, it makes basketball popular. They hope that we're successful because it helps basketball become popular.
A lot to be unveiled over the next year or so. And again, we're 4 weeks into this season. So that'll all be
figured out
next season. Yes, it will be. It will be figured out and will be communicated to the Chuckster.
I would appreciate it.
When we come back, we will be joined by a guy you'll see on TNT this week, teeing it up. Blake Griffin joins us next.
Can't wait.
We are back inside the steam room.
Special guest.
We do have a special guest. You know what? When I think of funny people associated with the NBA,
never thought it in my life.
Chuckster, you are.
I know, but I never thought this guy would be funny.
But you are. I'm thinking you're funny. Shaq is funny.
Well, Shaq is dumb funny.
Kenny's not funny at all. He can be funny.
Ernie, the guest, I had never spent. I don't even think I'd met him before to Lake Tahoe this summer. I don't think I had ever met him before or I definitely hadn't spent any time with him, but I don't. Special guest, had I met you before Tahoe?
The special guest, by the way, is Blake Griffin.
I think I intentionally avoided you at all costs.
So, number one, where did this love of golf come from?
I don't, man. To be honest, like as I started getting closer to retirement, I was like, I think I need something for a competitive outlet. I had buddies that played that loved it. And so I just got some clubs and I played, and I was so bad the first time that I was like, you know what, I got to keep working at this. And then all of a sudden I was hooked, and now I can't stop playing it. Still very bad, but I'm better bad than I used to be bad.
Yeah. Chuck, you kind of skedaddled right past the reason, or one of the reasons that Blake's on the Steam Room today is because he is part of the match Superstars.
So I was talking to him about golf.
I know, which is...
I was talking to him about golf,
I know,
so
but
I skewed past it.
We could have set it up a little more that, hey, you know what, on TNT and on Max on Thursday and Friday, 2 nights to do the match
but
Superstars.
I want to go back to the beginning of the story.
I know, but
Ernie.
I'm not even going to try to explain to you how this should be done because you won't listen. And let me also, because you jumped right into it, he doesn't even know the rules of the Steam Room.
Oh, he got a body. He can take his shirt.
Please try to keep your towel on. That's the only rule of the
Blake's
Steam
body
Room.
he can still take his. He hasn't been that much into retirement. He can take his shirt off in public. I've actually seen him on some boats overseas.
You've seen him on some boats overseas.
You know how when he was
are you on the internet scrolling through pictures?
I'm actually starting to do that.
He's on another boat with some binoculars.
I haven't taken my shirt off in public in like 30
He's
years.
paparazzi. Those are some pretty good shots you took there, Chuckster. Kind of zoom on that lens, man.
But I saw him on the boat with his shirt off and everything, all confident like I used to be, but can't be anymore.
Yeah. Anyway. Welcome. We are so glad you're here. We're glad that your golf game is improving. What was it like, since we can't give anything away, though? Tell me, what was the experience like hanging out with those 8? Because we had Blake, we had you, Chuckster.
Yep. Ken Griffin Jr.,
Nate Bargatze, Mark Wahlberg,
Michael Phelps,
Wayne Gretzky, Bill Murray. Yeah, it was. I mean, that's the match Superstars. What was the best part about being part of that, Blake?
Man, honestly, the time like off the course, like we hung out at the hotel most nights. Those nights were incredible. Just because it's like you're hanging out with 7 guys that you idolized or watched growing up or even watched recently. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, I just think there's something too, like when you hang out with people who are very successful in their field or whatever they do, you like learn a lot and this group also happened to be so much fun. There's a lot of laughs. So it was a great experience overall.
There was a lot of laughing and a lot of drinking going on. We had a blast. Yeah. Hey, so, you said something earlier. I love basketball, and I know you love basketball also. But what is it about golf that's so addictive? I played golf during the summer. I probably played 65 straight days. What is it about golf you can never get enough of it?
I think it's like because we were so like you're playing against a team, like you always have like somebody in front of you that's unpredictable, and you're trying to best this team. Golf is so much yourself in the course. Like I think that's part of it, that it's just sort of like this constant thing that's in front of you. It feels like it's manageable, but it's never truly like that manageable. And then beyond that, like I always say, like if you can go play golf with 3 other guys or however many's in your group, and you have a great time with them on the course, like you can have a great time with them anywhere, because golf really tests people's like patience, their temper. So you quickly develop friendships with people who you definitely align with through the game of golf.
Test their sportsmanship, their gamesmanship. Come on, you're not going to give me that? Come on.
A lot of trash talking.
Oh, yeah, but it makes it fun. And I think Chuckster and Blake, the key to that game, and I'm still trying to get that at the age of 68, is to be realistic in what my expectations are and not let results ruin a day for me, because it's fun to go out there with a bunch and play. And as long as I'm not thinking, because I've watched too much TV, that I can thread this 6-iron in between those trees, because I do have that little alley, and just play smart and hit some good shots, then I'm better. But if I put too much pressure on myself, it ruins the game for me.
Yeah, but I think it's different if you've been a great player. Blake was a great player. I was a great player.
So you expect to be great at everything you try?
Yes.
Do you, Blake?
Not at everything, just golf.
I'd say you'd like to be for sure. Like you kind of have that thing. I mean, you play other sports growing up, right, Chuck? Like
Yeah.
sports was just always like a thing that I could do, and golf is just clearly not. So it's like I don't know. It's just this struggle that like I'm just like I the first time I played, I walked away. And I was like, I can't be this bad at something. I gotta keep trying. And then you just get hooked somewhere along the way. It gets its hooks in you, and now I just can't stop.
It's that one good shot.
See,
it's that one pure shot that you didn't even feel, and you're like, why can't I do that every time?
Well, what's interesting about golf, okay, you don't play your best basketball game every night. Like when I'm around the guys, we always talk about like, okay, Emmitt Smith don't get 110 yards every night, but he gets 75, 80. Barry Bonds, he don't hit a home run, but probably 2 out of 7 days in a week. Golf is the only sport you can be great at other stuff and really, really suck at. That's what really drives us crazy more than anything else. You agree with that, Blake?
Yeah, 100%. And it's just like the fact that like you can hit a miracle shot. I played Riv the other day out here. Bad drive, unbelievable recovery on the green, make a putt, eagle on one, go to number 2, double, and now I'm just back to even on the day. Like it's just like anything can happen, and then anything can be taken away from you. So it's just like that feeling. What I love is like I know that like something really cool could happen on the next shot. Will it? Probably not, but it could. There's like that possibility of like possibly making a game winner every time you get the ball. I don't know. It's like that feeling for me is like it's always right around the corner.
Do you like to walk?
I do, especially when I'm playing with like people that I don't know as well, or if I'm trying to get to know somebody better. Walking is great. A lot of times I'll walk the front 9, maybe I'll ride the back 9. But I feel like just like that walking down the fairway, that's when like you guys got jokes. They tell you about this or that. Like the amount of sayings that I've added to my repertoire. I used one of yours the other day when when one of your putts was close, and you said, "Man, they got a cure for everything except lockjaw. Nobody want to give me these 3-footers."
See, that's
That's
one.
a pretty good chuckster right there, Blake.
That's right.
Very
So-
good.
So what's interesting, I love to walk. So obviously I live in Arizona during the winter, so you can never walk. But when I'm in Philadelphia during the summer and you go out there and you're in the midst of all these big old trees and you just walking, you're like, man, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you. Since it was your first year in Tahoe, how was walking 4 days in a row?
You know what? It wasn't bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be worse, but I feel like because it is kind of a slower paced tournament, you got plenty of time to like. I mean, I sat down on one hole for like 6 minutes, so it was kind of like a much slower paced. I didn't think the walking was too bad.
Obviously, Chuckster must have thought the walking was bad.
When I first, so in Tahoe, you played a pro-am the first day.
Yeah,
And then you played 3 days.
right.
I didn't realize how hard it was to walk 4 days in a row on the golf course.
But you've done that every year.
Yeah, I'm saying I had to I had to practice it. Like the first 3 or 4 years, I was exhausted at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And so it took me a while to adjust because like most celebrities do not walk 4 days in a row.
You know what? You know who else was exhausted?
Who?
People who were watching back when you started
See,
in
there
Tahoe,
you go again,
you
Ernie.
exhausted the gallery. It was hard to watch.
They was ducking for cover.
But we applaud you because you've rediscovered your game.
so-
You really have. You're hitting the ball really nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ernie.
Yeah,
I
and
beat Blake in Tahoe.
The guy's been
Did you?
playing for 3 years.
I think I beat you in Tahoe. What place you come in?
I don't 40. What place you come in?
51.
I don't know for sure. I think day one you got me, but I think I crept back in there. I don't know.
Wow, I didn't realize that because you did beat some pretty good
Oh yeah, I beat some good players.
good names. Yeah,
Bobby Flay. I mean, these just people who know, but
you beat a chef.
they got. He's been busy. It's so funny. In the sports book, they got me top 70 you can bet on. This is the first year I actually won. I finished like 72 to like the last 2 years, and I felt so bad because I let all my friends down. But this year, it was never in doubt.
Gone are the days when Cheryl Ladd would beat you.
I gotta say, Chuck, your swing your swing is not anything like I used to see it. It's way better.
Shout out to my teacher, Stan Utley.
Yeah.
So let's say, do you try to teach yourself or do you take lessons?
I took lessons when I started out, and then I love playing so much that I kind of got away from taking lessons just because I felt like it'd take me a while to sort of implement it. And then I've recently started taking some lessons again. I had to take a long, hard look at my game and be honest with myself and get back in the lab.
Hey, what are you thinking these days when you're watching hoop? How about Cleveland start 15-0?
Unbelievable. I mean, I remember Golden State's. What did Golden State
24.
go 27?
24-0 start. Yeah.
I remember that year. Cleveland looks unbelievable. I mean, it was great. They've had these pieces. And sometimes all it takes is just like some fresh blood here or there. Some guys feeling confident early. Ty Jerome playing unbelievable. I mean, their bench guys are playing unbelievable. Their main unit is good. Since Evan Mobley came in the league, I was like, man, if this kid figures it out, like he is going to be tough. And he's kind of like that a perfect piece for them. They just fit together really well. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, I got a question for you because Shaq, our buddy, our colleague, is fond of saying that coaching doesn't mean anything. Doesn't matter who's coaching. But Kenny Atkinson's the new head coach there. So what impact does a new head coach have in a group that's pretty much been intact?
I think just getting a fresh voice sometimes. You know, when you go through moments, like Doc used to say, when you go through moments of heartbreak in the playoffs over time, you start to subconsciously tune each other out a little bit. You have this negative experience with each other, and it sort of eats at you, even if you're trying, consciously not to let that affect you. I think it kind of does. And I think he's right. So sometimes just getting a new voice in, or having a new perspective on, hey, I've watched this team from afar, or hey, this is how we scouted you guys, and this is what we thought you couldn't do well. So we're going to try to change our offense a little bit and sort of try to help, accentuate all of our best players' positive attributes. I don't know what it is, but it can be very, very beneficial. It all can go out the window pretty quickly with the losing streak, but I think you're seeing the product of pretty much same team, new coaching staff, new ideas, and they're rolling and having fun playing basketball. You can tell they're having fun.
Every time Shaq says that, it sounds stupider every time. Coaching is important, and it might not be important to a superstar. Which, first of all, I believe it's important, but I think it's really important for your role players and guys like that. I think Kenny Atkinson is a terrific coach because, people forget he was doing a hell of a job in Brooklyn, but then when KD and Kyrie came there, they kind of had a mutiny and kicked him off the ship. But before those guys went there, people were like, man, Kenny Atkinson's doing a good job in Brooklyn. This team is really good. But then it kind of got overshadowed when KD and Kyrie went there, and they kind of kicked him overboard. That guy's a heck of a coach. I mean, he's been around the Warriors all these years. And I tell you, that team, I'm looking forward to the game tonight.
Cavs and Celtics.
Cavs, Celtics. I cannot wait to watch that game because even though the Celtics, the Cavs got a better record, we can't really judge the Celtics right now because, as I've said before, that's a totally different animal when Porzingis is in there.
Right.
Because they don't have any shot blocking. They don't have any size. They can shrink the floor when Porzingis is not out there. And the one thing I like about Porzingis, he changed a little bit in this game and started posting up. He never did that in Dallas. Remember when Rick Carlisle got mad at us talking about Charles and Shaq living in the 70s and 80s? We don't post up anymore. How you post up when you got a 6'1" guy guarding you if you're 7'5"? But, it's I'm excited. But, Blake, when I retired, it's hard to walk away. And then you still get that urge. I know the first 3 or 4 years, every time training camp came around, I was like, ooh, I'm getting a little goosebumps. I have no idea why. Oh, basketball's starting again. What's that been like for you in early retirement?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's mostly like when I watch games and you see, especially like a big moment, like the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and like, those moments that we all love, like being a part of, like that's, to me, is like what I really miss the most. But then I make it a point to like call somebody the next day. I know they're maybe like traveling or something, and FaceTime them. They're in the hotel in Indianapolis on a Tuesday night, and you're like, oof, I don't miss that part. So like having that balance, of like, you of course you're going to miss the games. You're going to be the moments you miss, I think too, are like the bus rides, the airplane rides, playing cards, just like those random moments. You miss those just as well. But I don't know. I just gotten to the point where, if you can't play the way you used to play, or I can't play as many minutes, or I can't do the things I wanted to do. And I thought it was time for me. So I've been pretty happy. But like you said, there are definitely some moments where you kind of get those goosebumps watching a game, and you miss like that feeling.
Blake, your team has been part of arguably the most infamous situation in the NBA. We're all staring at it from a distance. What was it like? I got two questions for you. What was it like when all the tapes and all the stuff came out about Donald Sterling? What was it like around the team? That's my first question. And my second question is, because everybody in the world who knows anything about basketball, we were sitting there watching that Adam Silver press conference, and we're like, and we're just throwing it around, batting around, like he gonna give him 6 months, he gonna give him a year. We thought at the most a year. And when he said lifetime ban, answer those two questions for me.
So Friday night we had a game in Golden State. It was game 3 in Golden State. Friday night we had a emergency meeting. So we come downstairs and, Doc gives us the whole, hey, there's something going on. Something's going to come out. We don't really know exactly what it is, but apparently they got some tapes of him saying some stuff. So we're all like, whatever, basketball as usual, business as usual. It's the playoffs. And I woke up Saturday morning and I had like 180 missed texts, because we were on the West Coast. They had already come out. And I was getting texts from people I didn't even have their number saved. And it was like, you guys got to boycott. You guys got to do this. You can't play. And we all came together and we were like, hold on. We didn't like put our jerseys on and be like, hey, let's go make Donald Sterling proud. Like, we do this for our families. We do this for each other. We do this, for the love of the game. So we felt like, hey, okay, we'll make a statement, we'll do something, but like we're still gonna play. Like we went through the entire regular season to get to this point, and we can't let this dude, throw it away. So it was a lot of chaos, a lot of outside distractions, but it was we kind of did the same thing, man. When it was like, I mean, what's the fine gonna be? Like, what is it gonna be? We didn't know what it was gonna be. And it's just a good point of like, man, when you have like rubbed people the wrong way and you haven't been the greatest person, any moment, any chance somebody gets, they're going to get you out of there, and they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So it was a good reminder for me to just, hey, like, be a good person, man. Take care of people. Make sure you're not, intentionally hurting anybody or trying to mess with anybody, because at the moment's chance, people will turn on you. And I think that's kind of like what we saw when it came to Donald Sterling.
And when that word came down that it was a lifetime ban, your thoughts were?
It's going to be good for us. I think, anytime organizationally, when you have somebody at the top that just doesn't want to spend money, that, has the history that he had, I think it's tough to overcome that. It starts from the top and it trickles down. So, for us, we were sort of excited about the opportunity of again, getting some new ownership in there and new blood and mixing it up.
I haven't watched, I don't know if you have, Chuck. Have you watched that
clip
whole thing? Yeah, have you watched the whole thing?
I have not.
I've watched some of it. Blake, when Doc was coaching you, did you ever think, wow, that looks like Lawrence Fishburne?
I didn't, so I got to give credit to the casting agent. That one was pretty good. Him and Ed O'Neill as Donald Sterling and Lawrence Fishburne as Doc was pretty good. The hair dye was pretty great.
Go ahead, Chuck.
It was interesting because I've talked to some of the Lakers about the Lakers story, and they're like, yo, man, none of that stuff happened like that. Mm-hmm. And you always wonder where all these stories come from. Because, Jerry West, he asked him was going to file one, and I miss Jerry, man. What a great person. He's like, I'm going to file a lawsuit. Like, Mr. West, it's just a waste of your time. He's just going to give it more pub. He said none of this stuff happened. And I had bumped into Magic a couple times, and those guys are like, yo, man, this is so flagrant a misinterpretation. So, wait, he never asked if he watched it. Did you watch any of it?
So, you know what's funny, Chuck, is I was with Wayne, I was with Gretz at this place at Gaza Ranch, and we were playing this member guest. So we're at our buddy's house, and he's like, "Oh, Blake, you got to watch this show. It's the best show ever. You got to watch it." He loves the show. He's watched it twice. I'm like, buddy, this show is not good. So for the first time, he puts it on in front of me, and I sit there for 15 minutes, and I had to get up. I got up and left. I was like, this is so bad. Like nothing about it is correct. Like it just makes everybody look weird. When I saw DeAndre Jordan's character was 6'1", I was like, all right, I can't do this. I don't know. It was tough.
You know, it's just like I never watched a clip, but I watched a couple of the Lakers thing. I'm like, man, they make everybody look like they're crazy. Yeah. You know, and I got great admiration and respect for Kareem. You know, for not one just as a basketball player, but just as a man. And I'm like, man, this is not the most favorable portrayal. And I've got, and obviously,
wait till the thing comes out about inside the NBA.
That's right. You know what's going to be good about it now?
What?
We're going to get to show it on ESPN, and then we're going to have some Hispanics. Who's going to play the Hispanic Ernie Johnson on ESPN Deportes?
It's Deportes.
Excellent. Deportes. Yeah, I know. Hey, welcome to my world, Blake. Come on, man.
We're going to have a Spanish version of Inside the NBA. Who's going to play Ernie Johnson?
I hadn't really given that very much thought, Chuckster.
Hey, you know, my man Chavez, I forget his name, not Chavez. He's a really great actor. He plays Cesar Chavez. He's a terrific actor. He plays in Tahoe. Mm-hmm. I can't think of his name right now.
Michael Pena?
Yeah, Michael Pena. Pena. I love Michael Pena. He's a great actor.
Michael Pena Chavez. He
plays Cesar Chavez in one of his movies.
Okay.
Very
good.
He would be a great Ernie Johnson in the Spanish version.
Good. We'll add him to the list of folks who audition. So let's talk about, you know, you're talking to a couple of guys who are grandfathers here on this thing. You're a dad. You've got a couple of kids. They love sports. Well, what kind of a sports dad are you?
I am very much so just supportive. It's pretty crazy how into it the parents get, especially the dads. You know, the football, basketball. Parents are just like, I sometimes I just want to like grab a parent and be like, guys, there are 0 scholarships given out today. Like they are 10 years old, they're 11 years old. Just let them have fun. Like, what are we doing? And you know, it's easier for some parents than others, but I've taken very much just like I'm a fan of my kids, and I get nervous for their games, way more nervous for their games than I did mine. I help out a little bit basketball just during practices, but games and all that, like I just want my kids to have fun right now and play any sport you want. If you want to pick a sport later and play in college, great. If you don't, also great. I'm going to support you either way. I think just like having this seeing the side that we saw, it just you know the ins and the outs, and you just want your kids to be happy first and foremost. So I really do try to keep a hands-off approach at times.
Yeah, you know, we had Jeff Francoeur on the show last year.
Yeah, Pure Athlete is his
podcast,
his site and his podcast.
Yeah, and Frenchie's a great dude, and he talked about when did the parents just start going freaking nuts? You know, like he's like, I hate the parents, I love the kids, but it's either uncomfortable for me to go to games now because the parents are screaming like it's Game 7. I'm like, yo, man, these are kids. This ain't Game 7 at the Forum or at the Boston Garden. But these parents, it's like, I'm going to make my kid the next great player by screaming at him, screaming at the coaches. I mean, every time I see a video where coaches or fans attack referees, I'm like, what's happening here? Yeah,
it's truly gotten out of control. And you know what it is too, man? Like I hate to be now this retired guy being like, back in my day, but here I am. Because dude, I would play basketball when it was basketball season. I would play baseball when it was baseball season. I played soccer. I played football. And you would just go from sport to sport. And now, man, I always tell this story. I was rehabbing an injury one time, and every morning I would see this little girl in there. She's probably in middle school or so. And so one day I finally asked the PT, I said, what's she in here for? And she kind of rolled her eyes and she was like, oh, her parents got her in, club volleyball, school volleyball, got a strength and conditioning coach, got a hitting coach, got a jump, like a agility coach. She's in here for shin splints. And I was like, oh man, like that poor girl is either going to be burnt out or her body's not going to be able to do the thing that she loves, because her parents just have her doing all these things. I think we've started to like specialize. Kids have started to specialize at like 8 years old. But it's like, that's when you need to develop just your overall athletic foundation, not your actual skill of the sport you choose. And we see it all the time. Kids just burn out. They get tired, their bodies break down, and it's unfortunate. But I think it's because it's such a moneymaker now that parents see it like that.
So I hate AAU because I think, number one, the kids don't get any value. There's no reason for young kids to play 3 basketballs or games a day, twice on the weekend and every weekend. Like, your body can't sustain. I wonder how many careers have been ruined because of these kids just being overused. You talk about that young girl getting shin splints. The basketball AAU portion, I just hate it. I'm like, yo, man, these kids can't be playing 5 basketball games, 6 basketball games on a weekend. Number one, what value do you get out of that? I don't know what value you get out of playing 6 basketball games on a weekend. Because, number one, you got to be mentally tired. You got to be physically tired. And what are you actually working on? That's the thing that bothers me about the whole AAU perspective.
Yeah, it's gotten better now. Like, I took over my AAU program, so it's EYPL now, and they play. I think they play max 4 games a weekend. So it's gotten better. Like I used to go. We'd play 2 on Friday night when we got in. We'd play maybe 4 on Saturday and maybe 3 or 4 on Sunday.
Wow.
And it was dumb. Like I remember one time in Vegas, we tipped off against Kevin Durant's team at like 11:30 at night, and then we had a game the next morning at like 8 a.m. It was dumb. And you're so right. I mean, I'm sure there's so many guys that, joy. It's just like the mileage on the car, man. The more mileage you put on these kids' bodies early on, like the less they're gonna have left in the tank. So I agree with you on that. But they have gotten better. I know that.
Hey Blake, we look forward to watching 21st and 22nd, Thursday and Friday on TNT and on Max, the match superstars. We appreciate hanging out with you down there. It was a lot of fun. Love your sense of humor. Who makes you laugh? Like who in the NBA, if you said, "Oh, that guy is hilarious," who was it?
That I played with, or like when at the time I was playing, Jamal Crawford, man, is hilarious, man. That guy, he has all the sayings in the world, and he's a great dude. I mean, I've had tons of teammates who make me laugh. DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford were 2 of the ones in with the Clippers that were just constant laughs around the locker room. But
those guys who were 6'1" are pretty funny. Yeah.
Hey, how much time did you play with Patrick Beverly?
Just like 4 months. He came that year, and then I got traded that year.
Because I've always wanted to know anybody who played with him, and he's much as a pain in the ass in person as he is on television. Because I was like, yo, man, I want to punch that dude in the face so bad right there. He would only be fun to play with. You cannot play against Patrick Beverly. He has to be on your team. So I got to find out somebody who has to play with him. Is he as annoying in person as he is privately?
He was good as a teammate, and then he gets. All you guys have your podcast. He gets his podcast and starts making shit up, and then it's just like, all right, man. I guess we weren't as cool as I thought.
That's what the podcast is for.
You sell out for listens, man. Listeners and subscribers, man. You guys all sell out.
Yeah. Hey, where's Ishan's Bar?
Oklahoma, Okarche, Oklahoma. It's like a famous fried chicken place.
Okay.
So next time you're in Oklahoma City,
we might be there. That team is loaded. They're doing well now. When they get help, there's a really good chance we're going to be in Oklahoma City for the next few years.
Do they have Redmont vodka at Ishan's bar? Because that's what Chuck's repping on his shirt. You've got the bar. He's got the drink. I got nothing.
Hey, Ernie, I'll get you all the Knob Creek you want. You drink dark liquor. I don't have any of that in the stable, but I get you all the Knob Creek you want. He loves a Knob Creek.
On occasion.
On occasion.
Yeah, next time I see you, Ernie, I got you, man. Bring you some Knob Creek and some Ishans.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Great talking to you, and all the best as a retired player, as a dad, as could be a future broadcaster.
Yeah, he got too much personality to do nothing. He gonna be on TV somewhere doing something.
You've got too much personality to do nothing.
You got too much personality. You need to be something. They need to show it, brother.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you guys.
Chuck and Ernie in the steam room. Come and join us in the steam room. Chuck and Ernie in the steam room. Leave your towel on in the steam room.
Chuck and Ernie in the steam room. Chuck and Ernie in the steam room. Leave your towel on in the steam room.
What was that look for? Your eyes are barely open. They're just slits there, and you're just. What were you doing?
I was trying to, because I knew you were going to ask me the number, and I was trying to remember it.
Of Chuck's answering machine?
Yeah.
Let's try it. Try the area code first.
404.
Yes.
987. 0330.
What was so tough about that?
I was scrambling. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah, there is. There's
a lot of stuff in here.
No one wants to venture there. Call number 1.
Hello, world. This is Charles Barkley. Leave me a message.
Hey, EJ. Hey, Charles. Loyal Steamer here. Charles, this question is for you since I know how much you love talking about good-looking men. Did you see that People magazine announced John Krasinski as the sexiest man alive? What do you think? And besides Tom Brady, with Trevor Immelman's voice, if you can nominate 3 sexiest men for next year, who would you pick? And no, you can't pick yourself, Charles. Keep up the good work, you guys.
And it's going to make me uncomfortable if you nominate me, so take me out of the mix,
I'll take
too.
you out there, crazy. Hey, congratulations to John Krasinski. You know, when they nominate you, when you win, it's a great honor. You got to take it.
How do you know?
What's a great assault?
How do you know that it's a great honor to be nominated and win Sexiest Man? How do you know that that's a great honor?
Oh, that would be a great honor.
It would be a great honor. So don't be talking like it is a great honor, like I have experience.
But you would have to take it with a grain of salt. I saw The Rock talking about it. He's like, when he won a few years ago, he's like, it's just something you have fun with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because people gonna give you, your boy's gonna give you a hard time.
Yeah. So who are your nominees for next year? And you were already talking about Blake Griffin earlier.
Blake's a good-looking man, but he's not sexiest man.
Because you saw him without
it's the sexiest man
his
alive.
shirt. Yeah.
Blake has a great body. I can give another man a compliment. I'm not like Shaq. I can give another man a compliment. Okay. You know who's a great actor who, I don't know if he's great looking, but he has this thing, Pedro Pascal. He's in the new Gladiator movie with Denzel, which I cannot wait to watch.
So he's one of your nominees.
Yeah. You know who I bumped into? I always want Idris Elba.
Okay, so is he on the list?
He's on the list.
So we're just trying to move the conversation along.
Because he's definitely sexy.
If you bring anybody's name up, I'm just they're on the list.
And I'll finish it off with Boris Kojo.
Okay.
That's a good-looking man.
All right. There you go.
Yes.
Hope that answered the question. Go ahead. Next one.
Charles Barkley, you need to get $25 million and go fight Jake Paul. I would pay money to see that.
You know what?
How about you and Mike Tyson?
For how much money I'm getting?
You name the price.
I'll whoop the hell out of Mike Tyson. I did not like that at all.
You didn't like the idea of the fight, or you didn't like the fight?
Both.
Okay.
I love Mike Tyson. I don't know Jake Paul, but I love Mike Tyson. I got a lot of love and respect for him. Number one, an old guy can't beat a young guy. But I'm glad he didn't get hurt. But also, he got hit a lot. It might not be there now, but at some point there's going to be some damage to his brain. He made $20 million. That's not worth when you're not able to do the stuff you want to do with your kids and grandkids and things like that. No, man, I don't want to see old people fighting. I do not want to see that. Hey, I wish Jake Paul nothing but the best. He seems like he works hard and trains hard, but I don't want to see an old guy get in there, getting his brain bashed in. That's not a good look for me.
Excellent point. So I'll take the Barkley against Tyson off the table.
That's right. Well, $40 million, though, Mike going to get his ass whooped. That's how much Jake made. Tyson only got $20 million. You give me $40 million.
Think of all you just said about not wanting to see people get hit in the head.
I'll do some body shots then. $40 million.
Please give us the next call.
Hi there. Do you carry your own lotion when you travel? You said you carried your own soap, but I was curious because wouldn't you run out of lotion if you're just using the hotel's lotion because it's so small? Couldn't you ask your good friend Shaq to give you some of his Gold Bond for free or a family and friends discount? Just curious. Thanks.
That is a very astute lady. Not only do I carry my big bars of soap, I always carry my own lotion. 100%. You're right. See, the hotels be giving that little crappy little bottle of lotion which you go through after one cycle. Mm-hmm. And then I told you I almost had a couple accidents with that little bar of soap. I almost lost it.
Yeah, I remember that episode when you said that.
But
I'm trying to forget that.
Oh, I tell you though, man, I found me a new soap place that I'm in love with. It's called Buff City.
Oh yeah, Buff City's.
Ooh, they got some flavors in that bad boy.
Try their washing soap too.
I do. I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't worry about your clothes smelling good, but your body smell good. But man, they got so many flavors in there. They got one in Oxford, Alabama. Anytime I drive to Leeds, I stop in Oxford to go to
You walk in those places too, and man, does it hit you.
Well, what's crazy about it, you said you're going to buy like 4 or 5 bars of soap. The other day, I bought 20.
Mm-hmm. Because you're walking around smelling these things. Ooh, that smells good.
Yes.
Are you that way? Are you like a candle guy?
No. I'm a dude. We don't believe in candles.
You don't believe in a candle that smells good?
A man can't have a candle. Stop it. A woman can have all the candles they want. A dude can't have a candle. Stop it, Ernie. A dude, if there's a dude, when do you use it? A candle.
Make a place smell good.
Oh, God. Stop it.
You should try it.
No. Dudes don't need women. Candles are for women.
So a man and a woman in a house, can they have a candle to make the place smell good?
But the woman gonna make it smell good. The man ain't got nothing to do with it.
He can smell the candle and say, ooh, that smells good.
Okay. He didn't buy the candle. Let's get that right.
So men can't buy candles.
Men can't buy candles.
You have the weirdest rules of life. You really do. It's just, it makes no sense. You can't buy birdseed. You can't buy a candle if you're a man. You can't FaceTime another guy.
First of all, you and this bird thing, it's got to stop. You feed
That'll
these
never stop. That
when
will
you
never
feed
stop.
the birds and got a camera and thing, that's just so white.
That will never stop.
You're the whitest dude I know.
That will never stop. What am I supposed to do?
If I see a black dude feeding birds, I'm going to slap the hell out of him. And he got a camera in the backyard?
I do have to tell you this.
What?
I did a Zoom conference with a company, which I will not name. And they submitted to my agent, here are some of the topics we're going to be covering with Ernie. One of which was, what was it like growing up in the South as a biracial child?
What was it like, Ernie?
That just... You know how years ago people were always asking on the show.
And you're the whitest person in the world.
So I said, you might want to not use that question. First
of all, that would have sent the Zoom over the edge.
Oh, that would have been unbelievable.
Oh my God!
But anyway,
why does everybody think you're black?
It's just the whole vibe. It must be. It's just the swag, Chuck. What can I say?
You and Kirk Cousins.
What can I say? Can I steal one of your calls?
Yes, you can.
For good for the soul.
Yes, you can.
You're gonna enjoy this. Play it.
Hi, Chuck and Ernie. This is Jonathan Meir, loyal steamer, calling you from College Station, Texas, where I am a professor in the economics department at Texas A&M. I wanted to thank the two of you for pushing me to tell people in my life how much I appreciate them. Over the past few years, I've written a couple hundred cards through old school mail with a stamp and everything to family, friends, colleagues, my old teachers and mentors, and even some of my own students. Just to tell them how I feel. It's good for the soul, and I recommend it to everyone. And thank you guys for everything you do.
Wow.
Love that. Thanks for taking that ball and running with it, because it's so important. And I think it's not just for people who have helped you get to where you are, maybe, but I look, encouragement never goes out of style. Saying thanks to somebody for being a great coach or a great teacher or a great neighbor, that's awesome too. But just encouraging people on a day-to-day basis and just saying, man, you did a great job on that. That was, people don't hear it enough. Yeah. And it's just what you need to hear sometimes. So be an encourager.
Yeah, in Leeds, we had a bunch, Miss Hill, Miss Turk, but two teachers, Miss Robinson, but two coaches, Coach Copeland and Coach Honeycutt, had a great influence on all the kids in my hometown. So I always have, anytime I get a chance to say something good about Coach Honeycutt and Coach Copeland, man, they mean a great deal to me.
Yeah, and reach
but can
out.
I finish up on a bad note?
We kind of like to finish with
I know,
good for
but
the
I can't let this go. My man from Texas A&M, you got an ass whooping coming this week when y'all come down to Auburn. Number one, we appreciate you being a loyal steamer, but we're going to rise up. We're going to get to that 5-win plateau. We're going to rise up. It's a big weekend for us.
So that's how you wanted to end the show.
Hey, man, he said Texas A&M.
I know.
Ernie, I'm desperate. Mm-hmm. I'm desperate down at Auburn right now.
A win for you on Saturday would be good for your soul.
It would be good. That'll get us to the 5-win plateau. We're this close.
Got news for you. It ain't happening. And that's it for the steam room.
We're this close to the Birmingham Bowl.
Short trip. Save on gas. Don't even need a hotel. Just go up on game day.
I stay at my mom's house. Feel like it's a real bowl game.